Hello everyone and welcome to my build for my Magicka Dragon Knight. So this is going to be my light armor build, which you may have seen in my recent video, Return of the Dragon. I did spend a long time editing that, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. If you want to see this build in action, go check it out. But just keep in mind that a lot of those clips were in this build or the progressions to this build. So things that I tested. Anyone who knows my content knows that even if I can get one recovery, one spell damage more, I will do so to get it. I really like to get every single little bit out of this. So I'm quite happy with the comfortable of this build. I think the stats, etc. are all right on the nose to where they should be. This build is a very different play style though. If you're not an aggressive player, bin it. It's not going to suit you at all. You're going to be in the wrong place. It's a very aggressive build. You want to keep a lot of offense in this. Your damage is gigantic. I mean, targets will melt super quick, even in heavy armor, even with a lot of health. They're going to melt really, really fast. Even in a dueling environment, this can compete against anything that's not a complete meta duel build like Durux and that nonsense with Befal CP. So it's really good. It's really strong damage. It is not as squishy as people will make light armor to be out. So a lot of people will say light armor can't survive, etc. It's a lot more tanky than you think it would be. So give it a try if you're an aggressive player. You can definitely tank in this. I'm able to block longer than heavy. My resistances are not that much less than heavy. My damage is way harder than heavy, and my healing is actually currently better than heavy, just because of some of the changes that I've made to my glyphs, etc., because of the light. Okay, so our stats. Again, this is unbuffed. That's really important to know because we've got sets on here that you may have experienced before that are going to amp that up a lot. So we are 38.3k Magicka. That is without Mage Light. With Mage Light, that would be about 41.2. Remember, this is obviously with Undaunted and all gold gear. Just keep that in mind. My jewelry is not gold simply because you can't get the sets in gold. Health, 27.5k. That's without Emp. With Emp, it's going to go just about 30k. Pretty sexy health for light armor. And stamina, 17.3k. You could get those last two stats up. I'd not all Triglyph if you wanted to and sacrifice some Magicka. More than possible. I personally like the extra Magicka. I like the damage, but each to their own, I suppose. Spell damage, unbuffed is 2k, but buffed we are reaching as high as 3.7k. There's a lot of bits that go into the buffing of this spell damage. It hits really fucking hard when you got that up. 3.7k spell damage is a lot, especially with light armor penetration, 44% crit, etc. Recovery is 1.4k, but we have sets to help us sustain. We have Battle Roar to help us sustain. We have light armor cost reduction. And I'm not a vampire. I can sustain just fine without that, so I don't need it. I don't like Mistform at all. I think it's garbage. But if you are a person who likes the Mistform playstyle, it's there as an option. You've got the extra regen that you'll get from it. I personally think that you're tankier in this setup without it by quite a margin, especially open world. If you get rooted by a Magicka DK in this, you're going to be fine. You're going to be able to survive it. If you get rooted and you're a vamp, you're in deep doodah because those dots are going to hurt even if they're not that strong. So yeah, I like not being a vamp, but if you want to be a vamp, of course it's an option. And again, keep this in mind, you don't have to run this build. Just because I run this build, this is just what I like to use, so remember that's completely an option to you. Crit resist is 1.75k. It's not 2k, it's not 2.5k, it's not 3k, and people run more than that sometimes, but remember that we're able to almost indefinitely block in this. Even against multiple targets, we're able to block quite a bit in here. Permablock hasn't been a thing for quite a while, but we can block a decent amount of time in this. And I think this build makes the most out of that. So yeah, Mudis is the Atro. I'm using Tri-Food in this. I think that works absolutely fine. I've not got any resource buffs or anything like that. So if you had a resource buff, it'd be like 1.6 regen, 2.2 spell damage. You'd reach as high as 4k with all the buffs. A lot of stuff going on there. So, our sets. We are using much similar to the Shacklebreaker build, Balrog's Revenge. So jackpot anyone who was good enough to farm that. I can't see myself changing this section of my build at any point on a DK unless something dramatic happens to the way DK plays or the sets themselves. It just works so good. I love it. That is Burning Spellweave on the back bar only. So 3 Burning Spellweave on the jewelry. You could use that on the armor as well. Doesn't matter. And then 2 on the back bar, 1 Hannah's shield. I'm currently using 6 Sturdy and 2 Impen, so whichever trait you have on your shield, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you balance it out with the rest of your set pieces. You got the transmute station, so it's not that hard. And then with that, I'm using 2 Willpower on the front bar for the extra damage on the front. Last patch, I was using Torg's Pact. The reason I was using that was because you couldn't Nern. Now with the trait change, you can Nern the sword, so Willpower is marginally more damage over the Torg's Pact, and there's no other 2-piece stronger. Our traits, obviously known on this one with this weapon damage and spell damage glyph. Our back is now infused. Decisive is nice. It's not as good as this. Infused with disease damage based on some changes I made to the CP really allows a lot of uptime and a lot of pressure with disease. So whenever your disease glyph hits, you have a 20% chance of proccing the Defile, minor Defile, which is 15%. CP in their scale's really good. It's becoming quite a large meta, and you can get a decent sized heal debuff pretty consistently, which really helps killing Templars, which are not a DK's best friend. I mean, Magicka Templar is very difficult to kill as a Templar. Even in this build, it can be tough. But this build has a very good chance, especially with some other changes to the build. 2 Scoria, I like this. I think, again, it suits my aggressive playstyle. There are many other sets you could use here. Bloodspawn will be your tankiest option. Will also give you a bit more sustain and stamina. A bit more ulti for burst. You could go 1 Choke Form, 1 Doma House if you're lacking sustain, especially in Magicka, or you're not able to block enough. You could go for... let me scroll down. Slime Court if you want the straight damage. I personally don't think that's as good as Magicka. Each to their own. You could go for 2 Engine Guardian. It's honestly pretty good on a DK. I really like it. If you're blocking and you get a stamina block, you don't have any problem. You could go Troll King. That's cancer. Don't use that. Or you could go for my interesting playstyle, which I've been enjoying sometimes in my videos, and I still sometimes use, which is actually Chudan. So if I can even find that. Mighty Chudan is an interesting set because it opens a skill slot similar to Rat Cage. You're losing stats at the Scoria, but I actually really like this. Now, Volatile is a great skill. Brilliant. It's the highest DPS skill on your DK, actually. It's really strong. But sometimes if you need to free a skill up, it's actually a really handy skill. And sometimes in a group play environment, I'm using this. And I'm actually slotting guard on my skills. Using that with a partner. And we take turns alternating guard depending who's focused. It works really good. I love the set. The resist on it is a good bonus. You also get the health that Scoria offers and that resistance buff. But yeah, at the moment I'm favouring Scoria. I just sometimes use this in weirder environments. Hey, each to their own, I suppose. Other 5-piece set then is Bloodfawn. So this is spell damage, magical recovery, and Magicka. And then we are also getting the 5-piece. When you deal direct damage, you restore 660 Magicka and stamina. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. It's a great set. It really is super, super sexy. And the thing that makes this so good is it gives us the blocking that we can get in heavy as a light armor build. When we do direct damage, we're getting stamina return. Even though we're blocking, it's more stamina return than full heavy would give you, and it gives you that stamina sustain in light armor. It's a must-have. That is not a negotiable set as far as I'm concerned. If you drop that, you're in deep shit. You're not going to be able to manage your stamina at all well if you're going to block a lot, and that's going to be really tough in light armor. This set really pairs well. In the past, I've run this with Wizard Riposte, so again, regulars to my channel may well already have this and save a fair bit of money. It does great. It really is a good set. So, I currently use Triglyphs on the big pieces, Magicka on the small pieces. Again, you could put Triglyphs on all of it for more overall stats, a bit less damage, a bit less healing, each to their own. My Junu Glyph are currently 1 reduced cost, 1 recovery, and 1 spell damage. You could run 2 recovery. To be honest, if you run Vamp, you can actually drop that recovery for another spell damage or a block cost. I don't think the Vamp is worth it, but each to their own again. Like I said, adjust it as you prefer. You could even just stay with the same if you go Vamp. It's up to you. Okay, so our skills. A few changes here. So the last 4 are identical. Whip, that's going to be our damage. It goes on your front bar. That's where your most damage is. Dragon Blood goes on your front bar. Why does it go there? More damage, more healing. Entropy goes on your front bar, gives you extra Magicka. More importantly, gives you extra health, more healing, more damage. And Flames of Oblivion gives us crit on the front bar to increase our crit. And it's also going to be a very large dot. My favourite skill. Out of every skill ever on the DK, I love it. And a lot of DKs don't run it. I think it's criminal. I think it's a brilliant skill. But yeah, you could run Mage like that if you prefer. I really think Flames of Oblivion is excellent. So each to their own. Our first skill then is actually Wings. My healing is so good in this build that I have never needed to use Deep Breath. The only time I slot Deep Breath is if I am meeting large, organized, guild-based groups, and then I slot Chudan on to free up the space for Deep Breath, and I move this instead of Volatile on the back bar and put Deep Breath here. It needs to go on your front bar. It's a heal. It's going to scale on your highest resource, more healing, etc. Dragonfire scale doesn't scale on anything. Back bar, we're then using Embers. I've got quite comfortable using it on the back bar. It's another Burning Spell Wave proc, so you want it on the back bar since it's only going to scale on the buy on at the time. Initial cast, another Burning Spell Wave proc, great. Talons, Volatile, and Engulfing. I'm now using the Burning Talons Moth as well. It's lots of AoE procs of Burning Spell Wave. Got really great uptime with that AoE on the Burning Spell Wave bar. They're really important. They're generic skills anyway. Volatile, your resistance. Talons, your root, dot. Burning Embers is already going to give you another 10% flat damage on top of all of that damage already. And then I'm using Fossilize currently instead of the Stone Fist. Now, a lot of the time, Stone Fist can be better, especially open world against weaker targets that don't know CC break and not managing stamina well. But I really like Fossilize in light armor against Stand Blades. Against Stand Blades, I hit so hard in the medium armor. All I do is I go light attack Embers, light attack Engulfing Flame, light attack Fossilize, whip, whip. If they're not dead, leap. They will always die. No matter what they do, they're dead. It's so strong against medium armor, the damage. So this really locks down that kill against Stand Blades fast and is really valuable. My ultis then. Front bar, I'm using Leap for the burst combo. Massive tooltip on that fully buffed. I'm over 20k. You could also empower that, which I often do with the entropy just before I cast that. Back bar, I alternate between two ultimates currently. First is Spell Wall for the one-handed shield, help our blocking. I'm only using that at the moment, open world, while I'm streaming because it's pretty big groups. Most of the time, I actually use Banner, Shifting Standard. Now, this is really, really good at the moment. Shifting Standard, you can now place an infinite amount of times. It gives you Major Defile, which is a great buff against Templars again. And is a large dot in light. It is pretty hard in light. In my opinion, it's invaluable against Templars. If I meet Templars that are just mashing the heal button and nothing else, this is just your bread and butter. They're so screwed if they get this and that minor defile on them as well, especially with a CP. You're going to be 60% healing debuffed. Alright, so champion points. A lot of kinky stuff going on in here. So Green Tree first. 56 in Warlord for break free. Any more than that is a bit of a waste, but you're saving a fair bit of stamina there. It's quite handy. It doesn't scale that well in terms of what it actually does, but it's handy to have some in there. Free in bashing. So when I'm on a high aggression, I do bash weave. It helps that little bit of DPS. It hits pretty hard, 801k extra each burst. Especially in execute, I'll do that. A little bit of reduction never hurts. It's only 3 points. 37 in Arcanist for our Magicka recovery. More sustain the better. And then I'm doing something that I've not done at all yet on any class up until now, which is stacking a CP tree. So I've got 73 in Shadow Ward. At one point I even had 81. That gives us 23% block cost. I could drop so many points out there and only lose 1%, but I've actually really like it. Even though that was only 1% block, you do notice it. I honestly like this. I think the CP is wasted elsewhere at the moment. Yeah, so each to their own. 28 in Tumbling. I actually roll dodge a decent amount in this build if I'm rooted. I don't run Mistform. It's a playstyle that I'm very used to. If you're running Mistform, they're mostly going to be a waste. You'd be better off spreading them around those other trees. Maybe put that to 81. Put some more in Befoul, where I currently have 30%, 33. Now, interesting thing about Befoul, at the moment that is going to give my Major Defile a 39% tooltip. I could put this up quite easily with those extra points to a higher scaling. If I put that to 36, I get a bigger number that rounds well on Befoul. It's not worth it since it's still 39%. So remember that Befoul is an exact number. Just trust me, basically. Just run 33 in Befoul. More is a bit of a waste unless you're going a long way more. Blue Tree now. So this is the first time again that I've done this on a build, and I'm actually really liking it. The CP for healing does not scale that well in these trees. You lose a lot of damage in exchange, but our damage is so high. I've actually really started to like this tree. I can see myself using this on other classes as well. So I currently have 27 in Blessed for 7% more healing. That really is noticeable. I absolutely love it. I think it's really strong. 56 in Elfborn for the crit damage. We're in that often. More is a waste. 43 in Elemental Expert and 20 in Spell Erosion for the penetration. 56 in Master Arms and 28 in Thaumaturge. Exploiter is not worth it at the moment, in my opinion. Even with all these dots, I think you waste too many points trying to amp that dot damage up and lose out on your direct damage, which is actually going to get the kills. So each to their own. If you want to go Exploiter, you can. It's not worth it in terms of your whip damage, I promise you. But yeah, as you prefer. Red Tree 40 and Ironclad, that's going to reduce the direct damage we take, which is going to give us greater mitigation against burst. You do not need to go over the top on that. You're blocking a lot. I actually have started this in every DK build that I run to stack a bit more into crit resist. 50 points there to compensate for a massive amount of sturdy. Whatever you have in here, it's important that you reach 75 because that passive is pretty handy for helping your tank ability. So when you take critical damage, you heal for 272. That's a really good passive. I would try to reach that in almost every build you make. I've now started stacking quite a bit into dots because there's a lot of bleed builds at the moment. They're really bad news as a blocking build because they go through all your resistance, all of your block, pretty strong. So I'm running 44 in there. Any more starts to scale pretty painfully. So I think 44 is on the nose. 37 in Hardy and a bit less in Magic because I think the stand blades are more of a problem than your Magic. So that's how I fit those. And then 27 in Quick Recovery. Again, I like those healing trees. I think it's pretty strong. I don't know if I missed anything. I'm going to ask one favor. A lot of people in the past will copy and paste my builds. Not a problem. Feel free. I can promise you the blue tree to the point is min-maxed. So if you are going to just straight take the build off the bat and use it, make sure you copy the blue tree exactly. If you want to change the others, feel free. I mean, it's different playstyles. But that blue tree is just definitely the best damage you can get. I've done a lot of testing on that. But please, guys, there are certain XV1ers that use my builds. It's so annoying to make a solid build and then see a 40-man group running it. Please, if you see me, you're allowed to XV1 everyone else. Who cares about them? But please, right? If you see me, be nice. If you're running my build, don't 40-man me. Leave me. Let the other 39 people mosh bit. I spend a lot of time making these sort of builds. I do min-max it to every single point. So please don't XV1 me my own builds. That's all I ask. I hope you enjoy the build. I hope it serves its purpose for many of you. It's a different play style. Again, if you're not an aggressive player, it's not going to suit you. Try and make the most of it, though. It's a really solid build. I can't see anything in it getting nerfed anytime soon. The only thing I can see getting changed is blocking, and if it does, I've got another way around that. So you'll see it instantly another build afterwards. But yeah, best of luck with the build, guys. I hope it works for you, and good luck with the playstyle.